Hey again, welcome back, and thanks. Delve a little deeper into understanding this science a bit further. Neuroscience has a famous saying, and I'm sure you've all heard versions of it, but nerves that fire together, wire together. What does that mean for you in your aim to change your current state of affairs into achieving your best life? We're talking about patterns, things that we do daily, weekly, moment by moment, that ingrain in us an understanding of who we are. If we want to change who we are, we have to change that rhetoric. So we need to challenge those same thoughts, same actions, same emotions, same beliefs, because we're only going to get the same results if we let those remain. Right? So if we want that change, we have to become someone else or something else. And you can get there, but it's going to take considerable effort. And let me break it down for you because it's possible. Don't be scared. Breakdown of some key steps, okay, to make this easy, step by step. How do I become someone new? First, it's visionary thinking. I had to be so visionary in order to envisage something completely new for myself. I had a present for any birthday or Christmas. I never had weekends or times just to have fun. I always had abuse. I had to spend my life cleaning, caring for people, being punished, and the story goes on. How was I supposed to envisage a life that I didn't even know existed? I had to dream far beyond. Yeah, I had to think so far beyond my current reality and envisage the person that I was determined to become. I knew I was not born on this earth to be stuck in a space of sadness and horror. And when you want to make your brain work in a certain way, and you focus really, really hard on that way of what you want your brain to tell you that it can do, that's where you then move into mind. When you make your brain work in a certain way, now remember, you've got the power to make your brain work. That's called mind. So this is where we have mind over matter. The matter is our brain. Mind is telling the brain how to function. Mind is the brain in action, right? So we can tell ourselves different thoughts, different words. I can do this. And sometimes it might be so far out of reach. But it doesn't matter, because if you keep that long vision in your sight line, then you're going to work out the steps to get there. And that's our first module. So don't worry. In module 1, we're going to break that down really, really carefully for you and real easy. Okay, then we move into the transformation process. And it's through this journey of change that we discover our potential. How? First of all, we start with self-talk. Okay, we tell ourselves what we can be. Every day, believe a little more what we can be. Yeah? And we're causing our brain to fire in different ways, to wake up new neurons, to ignite new circuits, and make it start looking for other connections that make sense. Yeah? And when we fire those patterns over and over again all the time, it starts to create a finite signature in our brain. And that turns into our personality. Okay? And our personality is who we are. We're not just born with a personality, we create it. We create it through our experiences, which then create what we know we can achieve and who we know we are. And then that's how we interact with the world. So if you start off with your experiences being influenced by what you tell yourself to go do, then that's what your experiences then tell you back who you are. So if you say, well, this is my lot in life, I'm not really destined to be someone who earns a lot of money or has the best relationship or has someone that gives them only love and care and peace, and you're stuck in a toxic relationship, or you think that this narcissist that you're with or this boss that's giving you sort of almost emotional trauma at work, oh, well, that's just my lot in life, then your experiences are telling your brain that the personality you are is maybe weak or accepting or too modest or not standing up for yourself. And oh, well, that's who I am. But it's not. You can change that. There's one ingredient to making this whole process really easy. And it's something that I have relied on and I love. And it's knowledge. Knowledge and learning. Every time I learn something new, I am then again empowered. And when the brain experiences new knowledge, and when you really tell yourself and force yourself to focus on that new knowledge and learn it, then is this process possible. And that it has been my savior from the ages of 20 until 35. I focused wholly on learning the neuroscience of how my brain is wired, learning the effects of trauma and how it influences me, learning about human rights, children's rights, everything that I needed to know in order to get me to have the right language in my head to start to make new connections in my brain. And then what happens is the learning embeds in the mind, and all those neurological connections start to really hardwire. Then it turns into memory. Okay, so every time you learn something new, you form new connections and pathways in your brain. And those brain pathways are wired through the synapse in the middle. But that synapse only stays really firm and strong for your whole life if you go over and over and over it. Then you remember. And to define that, remember, learning is the forging of new connections, and remembering is the maintaining of them. So if we want to maintain and really truly remember, then we have to do it again and again and again and again. And it's the same with negative or positive. So if you find yourself going over negative experiences and allowing yourself back into those negative spaces, then what's happening in the brain is you are solidifying that synapse to lock in that memory and that knowledge, which then influences who you are as a person. Why would we do that in a negative way, right? I love this slide and it highlights it even more. Our thoughts are a language of our brain, and our feelings are a language of our body. Now, how many times have we felt something really bad and then acted in a way that maybe wasn't the best? You're mad about something and then you shout at somebody that you weren't actually really angry at. Or you start crying uncontrollably and you can't really focus your brain on anything because you're nervous. Yeah? And what happens in these positions of despair or sadness that we get ourselves into when we're in a space of trauma is the thinking and the feeling and the thinking and the feeling. Now, this could be high-level characteristics and behaviors of trauma, or it could be low ones. You feel frustrated at work, and so you just have to stomp out for an early lunch. Or you feel angry after your paycheck comes in because you feel disrespected, that your worth is not being valued. Or whatever it is that's driving you to despair and making you feel like you need a different existence. But then you go back to the habit of the thought of, oh, well, that's my life, tough. Guess I won't be doing that extra shopping for those shoes I need this weekend. No, you don't have to accept it. If you're accepting it, is you are aligning that feeling to an internal concept and an awareness of who you are. And over time, you're conditioning your body to memorize that emotion. Yeah. And then it sits within your unconscious mind. And it goes over your conscious mind. Your conscious mind was you agreeing with me right now when I said, no, you don't need to accept that. That's your conscious mind. But your unconscious mind is hardwired to accept it and to tell yourself that that's what you get. That's the life you have. And it just isn't possible, or it's too damn hard to make something different. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza tells us that 95% of who we are and what's hardwired into those memories and into our personalities happens by the age of 35. And what we've done is we've created a habit, because whatever the body knows well over the mind, your conscious mind, is then a habit. You do it without thinking. You do it without any conscious thought, right? And then it becomes a set of memorized behaviors, and it locks you into the place that you have to be, quote unquote. And all of those emotional reactions and beliefs and perceptions and attitudes just run like a computer. and it just ticks you along in your life. And then you're stuck. And when you finally decide that you've had enough, maybe you're confused and you don't know where to start. On a serious note, let's focus on these negative thoughts, these self-depreciating thoughts, limiting beliefs. What happens in the brain is it actually sets off a different set of sequences in your brain. You turn on different connections through a different set of patterns that then wire the brain differently. New circuits are being created in your brain that actually different chemicals. Now, those chemicals that are ignited when you're feeling angry, sad, low, discouraged, unconfident, those are chemicals that we don't really want to have flying about our brain. But the same pattern that we've just talked about happens. They start to become cemented into our synapses. And then we start to accept those feelings of sadness and being unhappy and feeling unworthy and feeling unloved, or that we're not worth the level of love that we would hope for. And they're locked in. And we've done that through self-talk and through self-sabotage. So if we know that every time we have a thought, we make a chemical, why would we be so cruel to ourselves to have negative ones? Why do we want negative chemicals flying about our brain? Joyful thoughts, visionary thoughts, empowered thoughts, self-love thoughts, those are the ones that thrust us into a position to have the possibility of the life that we're looking for. New patterns, new sequences, and new combinations are formed through those thoughts. And if they're positive ones, we can create a new personality because we're telling ourselves what we believe we can achieve, and therefore we're acting on that. And then when we act on it, we see how amazing we are. We get all the confidence in the world, and our superpower comes out. The reverse happens with the negative chemicals. So let's focus on getting that dopamine and that serotonin and that epinephrine and all those positive chemicals floating about so that we can have the change in our life that we want, and we can better and more easily envisage it. And then we can make it a reality. What did Disney teach us? Your dreams can come true. It's neurologically proven that they can. Mr. Disney got it right. Let's remember, the brain and the body are continually in conversation with one another and working together. And we talked about our unconscious mind versus our conscious mind. Look at the difference in percentage. All of those inbuilt habits happen without us really having much cognitive thought. Oh, I want to have my amazing positive personality. Oh, but I'm just a negative person. Never mind. That's who I am. Oh, I really want to have my big dream life. And I want to have this new reality for myself. Oh, but I'm not really worthy of that. It's not really who I am. It's not my card that I've been dealt. I want to have a wealthy life and have a comfortable existence and be really, really healthy and have all the time and money I need to make me well in my older years. Oh, but I'm not really smart enough for that. I'm not really one of those rich people. Whatever your limiting belief is, and that's locked into your unconscious mind, is going to take concerted energy and effort to change. And what we need to do is we have to recondition the body to a new mind. If you want a new reality, you have to have a new mind, and you have to recondition your brain and your thoughts and your body and actions so that you get a new mind to give you the life that you want. It's inspiring to see, and the possibilities of what we can achieve are remarkably endless. To give ourselves the platform to think beyond the world that we know. So I'm going to leave you with this challenge. To truly change your life, you have to shift your thinking beyond the confines of your familiar environment. I want you to consider how you can embrace a vision of your life that transcends your current reality to accurately create the future that you desire. What does visionary thinking look like for you? What can you imagine a future that doesn't yet exist for your life, but something you desperately want? Write it down. What then you turn it into mind over matter. You focus on your desired outcome where you can influence your brain and align that with your vision. And neuroscience tells us that it's possible. Our brains are malleable and they're capable of the response that we need in our own minds in order to move our thoughts and our actions into something positive that we are dreaming for ourselves. I can't wait to go on the next 6 weeks of a journey with you so that you can become the new you. I know you can CEO your own life. You can start bossing that life that you're looking for, because all you have to do is rewire your thoughts, which then transforms your actions and then gives you new beginning emotions. I can achieve this. I can do it. And when you see yourself doing it, the emotions around empowerment and strength and self-belief are off the charts. You will transcend into a world of power that you never thought you had. So if this resonated with you at all and you feel empowered by what you've heard, don't stop today and just watch. Take action, because the more you take action, the more it will embed. You have the power to change and rewire your mind. Do it today. And let's start with just one comment. Drop a comment below, a little commitment of what you're going to do to go on this journey of rewiring your unconscious mind. Hit the subscribe button and join us in the next series where we talk about how we take real steps and real action to teach our brain to think differently. I know you'll benefit from the next one, so stay on the journey with us.